Hi, and welcome back to the second episode of Bush Shadows. It's been a while since the first one, and that's okay. I've been together and life commitments and things happen. However, this week we've got a ripper. It comes from a place in Western Australia called Exmouth. If you're not familiar with Exmouth in Western Australia, it's nestled on the tip of the Norwest Cape. And so it's like a little peninsula that runs out there. It offers a blend of natural beauty, adventure, pretty tranquil place as well. It's known as the gateway to one of the world's most extraordinary marine environments. It's got this reef called the Ningaloo Reef. The whole area is UNESCO World Heritage listed, and the reef is one of the longest fringing coral reefs on the planet. It stretches over 260 kilometres. It's an underwater paradise if you're into that sort of thing. It's teeming with life. It's got colourful coral, like amazing coral, tropical fish, manta rays, and they got these whale sharks, these gentle giants of the ocean. And the people wanting to go there and just catch up with that marine environment, snorkelers, divers, it's just absolutely amazing. But when you get on the land, there's the Cape Range National Park, and it's got limestone ranges, deep canyons, pristine beaches, and it's just perfect for people hiking and looking for wildlife. The flora, fauna, it's a must visit. It's a really, really great place to be. We go back in Exmouth history just a little bit. There's something there that's actually quite interesting. It's the United States Naval Communication Station, it used to be called, and it was the Harold.E Holt. That was there in the 1960s, and the town was actually established to support that base. So it's become quite a community now, and it's maintained its connection to the nature in the past. The only way into Exmouth is one road, or once you get on the peninsula, and the airport is actually quite a distance out of town, so it's not really walkable. You need to actually get some transport to get from the airport into the town. But if you're driving from the capital of Western Australia, Perth, you're looking for about 13 to 14 hours of travel. So before you go there, you need to make sure that you cover those bases, I guess. But the story for this podcast, if you like, is happened back in March of 1993. It was a hot summer night, and one of the local residents and his American girlfriend were watching videos, and they received a call from another friend, an American who was stationed or working at the Harold.E Holt Naval Communication Center. He asked them to pick him up after his shift ended at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. The couple agreed, and they set out on the 6 to 7 kilometre drive through the bushland to the base. Now, this bushland, it's not overly like heaps of trees. It's quite, how would you describe it? It's red dirt, there's spinifex, and it's quite low shrub, I suppose. But some of the canyons are gorgeous, do have these. And they were driving along, windows down, it was a hot night, chatting away when they saw something unusual in the distance. And this thing was illuminated by their car's headlights. They had the high beams on. Initially, they thought it might be an animal. Its eyes were glowing yellow, amber sort of colour in the headlights. But as they got closer, they realised it was something entirely different. The creature, which stood about 6 to 7 feet tall, so that's about 180 to 200, I guess, centimetres, was covered in a long, silky grey silver coat of fur, and had a human-like face. Now, fur's an interesting action because fur indicates it's something finer, it's not so hairy, which is interesting. It had a human-like face, long arms that reached past its knees, no neck, and a broad, muscular build. The creature was stopped in the middle of the road, and it turned its upper torso to look at them. Now, something like that, naturally, it caused the couple to panic. They were winding up the windows, locking the doors, and it just continued to stare at them. They were terrified. The girlfriend was screaming to her driver, hit it, run it over, just get out of here. But the driver was frozen in fear. And one of the worries were if they hit it and it didn't die or the car was damaged and undrivable, it would be attacked. So after a tense standoff that felt like an eternity, the creature slowly turned, walked back into the bush, occasionally stopping to look back at them. And as soon as they felt it was safe, they just accelerated. They'd better way. They went straight to the base. They were both in deep shock, crying, shaking, and they really struggled from their emotional state to explain to their friend what they had just witnessed. Now, despite their fear and description of the encounter and how detailed they were, most people just dismissed their story, suggesting it was a man in a ghillie suit. Now, for those that aren't aware, a ghillie suit is a camouflage suit worn by the military. Or they questioned their sobriety. Were you drinking, on drugs? Now, this ridicule led them to keep their story themselves for a long time. However, that memory stayed with them. Now, the driver, especially the driver, maintains that what he saw, no man in a ghillie suit. When you think about it, by seeing these things, we're tapping into our deep-seated human desires, fears, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, one day you may even stumble upon something that makes you rethink everything you thought you knew. Now, a lot of these stories, not all of them will come from here, but this is also from the Yowie encounters. Can come from the Australian Yowie Research website, which I'll put a link in the description for that. There's quite a lot of information and research that goes into it there. So if you want to read more and research some, definitely go to their site. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed listen to me. If you enjoyed this episode, perhaps even subscribe. Give me some incentive to go through research books.